I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains.
Hola a todos, chavales, soy Spanish Forjado.
Led by Butch Cassidy. They were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. I'd heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. So I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Empezamos con estas cosas. Ya empezamos. Joder. Vamos por aquí. Oh.
I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge. What'd you say? I can't hear a goddamn thing.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route.
Hola, caballito. Hola, caballito.
But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Dinamita. Yo ya tengo, creo. No creo que vaya a subir allá arriba, ¿no? Porque después pasa lo que pasa. Suelta el tren, mierda. Como digo. Sí, ahora Superman ahora.
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados.
Elimina a los asaltantes y encuentra a Bob. Vale.
Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
I'm on fire ahí. Claro. No le da ni una bala. Mierda. No. Uy, la mano. Casi estaba arrepiento.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
Esa cabeza.
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights, but I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death.
Madre mía. Un pie mal puesto y te vas al carajo, ¿sabes?
Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway, so I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Show yourself, coward.
Viene a hablar en castellano. Mira, voy a esperar un poquillo que estoy a robo vivo. Ya. algo muy real, se partiría hecho. Bueno, aquí no veo solución. Creo que por aquí. Sí. En la mierda que no lo veo. Ah, esa cabeza.
Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
¿Qué pasa? Vale, perfecto. Oh, un gorrito. Un poco de cosas por aquí. A ver si hay algo. No, por aquí no sale. Me he reventado un vagón. He visto de repente. 1 de 3. George. Latin Nose. Curry. Vale. ¿Dónde tenemos que ir? Vamos por aquí. Hay que ir por aquí o algo. Espérate que ya me he perdido. Ah, mira.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Ahora he encontrado todo esto. Wow. Joder. Qué de gente.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Vale.
Who the hell is that?
Eso es controlado por sorpresa, ¿sabes? Con la cabeza.
He's killing everybody.
Qué cabrones, ¿quién más? ¿Quién más? Se va a meter con el clínico. Venga, ven. Hay que pegar, espérate que pegar. Joder, cómo está ahí el clínico, bicho. Mira, ¿dónde viene la bala? ¿Dónde? Tiene un reflejo. ¿Por qué que no vaya con el cuerpo de ese en medio? Joder, ¿cómo está ahí? El mínimo picha que ha comido proteína hoy, ¿o qué? A tomar con la cao. ¿Alguien más?
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they?
Persigue el grupo salvaje. Vamos. Oh, torreta.
Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
Oh, chaval, qué partidazo. Un poco lo que está liando. Dios, qué pepino de juego ya. Guapísimo. Es el Terminator, pero de la época del oeste, ¿no? Cabrones, ¿dónde está ahí?
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang.
Mierda.
Right after Sundance, I mean.
Venga, así me acuerdo.
And Kid Curry. And maybe Elsie Lay.
Vamos
Though
a
some
ver.
folks might dispute that.
Vamos a ver si es mejorado, ¿no? Venga. Con toda la cara pillada ahí.
On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America.
Significa que mejora un huevo. El primer desafío ganado sin ningún fallo.
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Pues nada, chavales, espero que os haya gustado esta parte, este gameplay, vamos, el capítulo 10 se puede decir. Y nada, espero que os haya gustado, dale a like, suscríbete, comenta favorito y nos vemos en el siguiente capítulo. Hasta la próxima, adiós.